Hello, people. You are welcome to the weekday edition of the Joe Brown Idele-Ero show. I have with me today for a very, very special discussion a gentleman uh, all the way from the eastern part of Nigeria. I have the honor to introduce to you Honorable Prince Chinedu Ekwunife. But before then, I'm going to quickly read a brief profile on him. Okay, Honorable Prince Chinedu Ekwunife is the state chairman, of the International Human Rights Protection Services Anambra Chapter, Anambra State in Nigeria. In 2023, he contested for the Federal House of Representatives under the platform of the Social Democratic Party of Nigeria, SDP. And he was representing the Awka North and South constituency in the general election. Honorable Prince Chinedu Ekwunife, he hails from Anyefelugo, Awka, and Anyefelugo, Awka. He holds a BSc on political science at the Enugu State University of Science and Technology, ESUT. The former chairman, People Democratic Party, PDP, Awka Ward, that's Ward 4. And then the former assistant legal advisor, Ohaneze Ondibu, Anambra State Chapter. He is a constant, he's contestant of Chairman Ohaneze Ondibu Youths worldwide. Also, he was awarded Leadership of Excellence. He got the Leadership of Excellence Award by Faculty of Education at the Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Awka, also in Anambra State. And he's the Chief Executive, La Stocker Global Resources. Prince Honorable Chinedu Ekwunife was, like I said, a Federal House of Rep candidate for Awka North and South constituency. So it is my pleasure to introduce to you Prince Honorable Chinedu Ekwunife. You are welcome to the Joe Brown Idele-Ero show.
Welcome, sir. Welcome, sir.
All right. So, and today we have an important discussion before us, which you already know, and I'm very sure my Facebook and YouTube fans already have this title, that there's a lot of challenges facing the Nigerian youth. We got to do something about that. Today, Prince Honorable Chinedu Ekwunife is going to talk to us about the challenges facing the youth of Nigeria, which he is a part of. Honorable Chinedu, let's get right into it. What are the challenges facing the youth in Nigeria?
Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Honorable Prince Chinedu Ekwunife. In respect of your question, Chief Joe Brown, the challenges facing with the youth in Nigeria are complex. And he has so diverse dimensions, which I believe that boil down on corruption and sabotage. Because if you watch what happens in Nigeria, you will know that we, the youth, are not involved. We have been exclusively removed from participation in Nigeria. And that is what gave birth to the protest which is ongoing in Nigeria today. When I talk about the corruption, like I said, it has a lot of branches. Corruption in Nigeria has become the order of the day, which has come from the head down to the grassroots where we participate. When the government won't be telling us the truth, when the government will be deceiving us, Nigerians, even we in particular, the youths in Nigeria. Last time I discussed about no payment of teachers, no payment of workers, no adequate environment for education, unemployment, underemployment, and non-inclusiveness in the decision makers in Nigeria. Like I said, if you are not in the ring, there is no way you participate in the boxing or wrestling. I believe if the federal government will have it at the back of their mind to get with the youth included in the decision making in Nigeria, and also make sure that we who is participating from the grassroots will take down the message down to the grassroots. I discussed about the palliative which comes from the federal government, but at the end of the day, those palliatives will not be seen at the grassroots. Giving the palliatives to the wrong hand, not including us to the society and the nation's building. Unemployment and so therefore affecting us, which gave birth to the reasons why this protest was made, irrespective of the fact that we, the Southerners, Southeastern youth, did not participate in this previous protest. Thank you very much.
All right, all right. Prince Ekwunife, I appreciate that introduction of this topic of today. Yes, we know that corruption has been the main issue, prevailing issue in our country, Nigeria. And as you highlighted a couple of things like, you know, lack of transparency and unemployment, and all that. We are familiar with all those issues already uh, happening in Nigeria. It didn't just start today. It has been on. That's why it's been prevailing on the Nigerian society and the economy. Basically, most affected are the youth that you just highlighted. And then you also mentioned about the marginalization of the eastern part of Nigeria, where you are from. And most of all those things you mentioned was related to the reason why the eastern part of Nigeria did not participate in the just concluded protest, nationwide protest. We're going to come to that. But now the question is, if you want to talk about the corruption in Nigeria, how and where, how did this start? I mean, from what time to what time are you talking about? Are you talking about the beginning of the Fourth Republic, or you want to talk all over from the independence? But I want us to narrow it down to the Fourth Republic, which started in 1999. You know, where the military handed power back over to the civilians. You know, so let us narrow it to that time. I don't want us to go way too far back into when we got independence. Okay, so now you're talking about the corruption. Who are those that has actually soiled their hands in corruption in Nigeria? And what happened?
Okay. In Nigeria here, the corruption goes round. It's like a system that is being contaminated that needs to be flushed out. Yeah. Why I said so is when you go around the system, you see that a lot of things needs to be done. In comparison with the state of United States of America, the Canada, United Kingdom, even the Dubai of yesterday. A lot of things are happening here, more especially, okay, let me go to the oil sector in Nigeria. When you go to oil sector in Nigeria, you find out that there is no transparency. There is no truth. I don't know why it will be happening like this, where you see the government telling us that in the next few months, Nigeria is going to experience our 4 refineries in operational. Tomorrow you will hear another news from the newspaper telling us with the youth that 5,000 youth or 10,000 youth will be employed in the process by which we are trying to fix up our refineries in Nigeria. At this stage, our refineries are not in place. Our refineries are in the state of moribund. And we need to do something about it. tomorrow another news will come from social media or from one of our daily newspapers that the youths are refused to get involved to the nation's building. During Buhari's regime, Buhari told us that Nigerian youths are lazy. You know, all this, I don't know why they are doing that when we, the youth, active youths, are the one asking the federal government to also give us our quota in the system of government in Nigeria. The other day, we saw online that our about 3 billion US dollars worth of crude oil has been mortgaged from an international country, whereby it was signed during the regime of the former president, who is President Buhari. How can our oil, how can our petrol, how can our crude oil be mortgaged, and we the youth don't understand what is happening in Nigeria? You see, there is a lot of problems that need to be addressed. That is why.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you real quick. When you say the crude oil was mortgaged, right, and without the involvement of the Nigerian youth, what do you mean by the crude oil was mortgaged? To who and for how? How did it happen? Because we need some clarity here. If you say the crude oil worth $3 billion was mortgaged, how, by who, and to whom? And you said it did not involve the youth in Nigeria. So how can you please give us some? Can you please give us some clarification on this? Hello, Prince, are you there? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, come again.
Okay, I just asked you a question based on what you said, that about 3 billion of worth of crude oil in Nigeria was mortgaged, and then it did not involve the youth. Then I was asking you, and we want some clarity. When you say it was mortgaged by who and to who? We need some clarity on that.
Yeah. It was mortgaged by the government of Nigeria to a foreign country, whereby none of the government officials has made it known to the society. What I'm just telling you is the current news that just came up on board that need to be addressed, because we, the youth, are no longer happy of what is happening here in Nigeria. There is a lot of suffering and anger in Nigeria. And if such thing can be mortgaged, then where are we going to? How are we going to survive? How do we know what is causing this hardship in Nigeria? When are we going to come out of it? Our leaders are not telling us the truth. there's no transparency. I mean, a lot need to be addressed if really the federal government wants to get with youth involved in the political era and the system here in Nigeria.
Okay, okay. I agree about all that. And then you also mentioned now that there's lack of transparency in the administration. It is not just this present administration alone. It has been ongoing since the for the public. Our elite leaders are not transparent. We all know that, okay? And there is no accountability. And yet, the youth are not involved. They are out there. When you go to school, you graduate in Nigeria, go through the youth service, national youth service, and at the end of the day, there is no job. I know that there are a lot of youth that are suffering over 8, 10 years. They don't have a job to do after youth service. I know that. And then there is this lack of, you know, um, infrastructural development, no industry that can be written to the name of any administration that has given employment, massive employment to the youth. We don't have any of those. We lack all that as a result of lack of uh, good administration, lack of transparency, and all that. And you also mentioned that our refineries, that Nigeria basically oil. Nigeria depends basically on oil, and the refineries are in moribund, like you said. So none of them are in working condition. Yet we import, crude and export and all that. So everything is so complicated. And at the end of the day, the money is shared among the privileged elite leaders. So all these are what we are talking about here, and how to, find solutions to them is what we are doing, and that's the reason why there was this protest, nationwide protest against bad governance in Nigeria. Now, I'm going to ask you this. How do we get the youth involved? Are you sure that if the youth are involved in politics, that things will change?
Okay. Yeah, I believe we are the youth, and the youth is the life and the future of every nation. We, the youth, we are the future of every nation. Any nation, any country, any organization that want to stand the test of time, there must have to be an inclusiveness of the youth, because we are the people that are representing the future. All we are asking for is just an industrial plant for transformation or refining of our inherited natural resources, which is the crude oil in our country, Nigeria. I think our leaders, from their character, have made us to understand that they are benefiting more from importation of our products our natural resources from overseas than putting our refineries in place? Why will the giant of Africa, as we are today, we don't have any workable operational refineries in Nigeria? If our refineries are working, all these youths on the street will be employed. There will be no room for them to get angry and move on the street. So from your question, I don't know how I'll be asking you to give me a bread, and the bread that we own together, and you are withholding it, and you are expecting me to be happy. Why don't you give me the bread so that we can have what we call a formidable and movable agenda where we can get our youth involved, and the nation will be built by both the youth and the old. Governments are supposed to be a mixture of youths and the old if things are going well. So I believe, and there is no way we the youth will be included in the decision making in Nigeria, and we will not be doing what is expected of us. And the two, I want to add this, that our constitution also needs to be revisited, whereby our youth also will come in constituting of a new constitution in Nigeria, so that we will be part of the government. We also partake in actualization of our dream, which is a bright future for we and our offspring. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Prince. See, if you are just joining us, this is the weekday edition of the Idele-Ero show. We expect people to go on the comment section now and join the discussion. Tell us how you feel about what is going on in Nigeria, about what this topic is all about the youth. I'm surprised that, you see, we have been getting comments from one particular person on the audience. This is a British woman who is in love with Nigeria, who loves things to move forward in Nigeria. Thank you so much, Don Peckham from the UK. Nigerians are watching this program, and no one is contributing to it. That is unfair. See, so there are the reason why things are not changing in that country. Look, this very important topic today on air, live on Facebook and YouTube, and a lot of people are there watching, but they won't say anything. That means a lot of people are in support of the corrupt system in Nigeria. That's my opinion right here. Because if you are not, this is an opportunity for everybody to come out and air their view. Your view will be taken note of here. A lot of people are watching this. Some government officials are watching this program. So we want it to go viral. We want it to share the program. Let everybody know about it. Let everybody hear what the gentleman, Honorable Prince Chinedu Ekwunife, is talking about. And it's making a lot of sense. So we want to first quickly appreciate Don Peckham from the UK. Thank you for your contribution. Thank you for always being part of this show. Now, moving forward, let me ask you another question, Prince Honorable. Chinedu Ekwunife. Now, we know about all that you have said, and you have talked about the non-inclusiveness of the youth in the governance. But then again, you talk about, probably we're trying to talk about, fairness or equity, fairness and equity in governance. That means we have a big nation, and with a huge population, and we have resources, both natural and human resources from length and breadth of the nation. We're talking about from the east, from the west, and from the north. If we are actually the same as they claim, there should be some kind of fair sharing and equity, So that we understand. Now I'm going to ask you this. This problem that has been prevalent in the nation, Nigeria, okay? You think that if the youth are involved in governance, probably things might change. Probably things might change. But at the same time, some people from other school of thought are saying that even the youth themselves are not ready. Why? Because there have been some youth involved in governance. Some youth have been elected as governor in some states, They'll be elected as governors in some states. For anybody that is between the age of maybe 45 and 55, I will classify them, or even 60, I'll classify them as youth. But there has been a lot of people that were elected, both as governors, National Assembly members, that have disappointed the people. So what do you think about all that? What do you think about those people that are disappointing the youth that are also disappointing the youth in Nigeria? The prince.
From your question, let me come from number one. I think there is no need to be stretching this anymore, asking if I'm sure that once there is inclusiveness of we the youth in the society to the government, that things will go well. Of course, it's yes. I am advocating for the youth in Nigeria. I am not advocating for the youth from Southeast or from the Igbo tribe. I am talking about generalization and generalizing the youth in Nigeria. Because, in some regions, sometimes our challenges are peculiar. But this aspect is the aspect that is sweating the problem we are having in Nigeria, in all the youths of all the regions. So once we are being inclusive in the decision-making body of Nigeria, in the new constitution, in one thing or the other, I don't think this protest will come up again. And the youth are also trying to move in and then back on another march, a protest, which is coming up 1st of October. This is not really a protest, but it's gonna be a 1 million march. That is if our demands are not met. If our demands are not attended to. So, from what you are saying, the government, our president, will also call for a dialogue between we, the active youths, the president, and the old, whereby we will move Nigeria into togetherness to the greater height as the giant of Africa.
Thank you so much. I appreciate all that. Again, you also talk about, you just talk about the upcoming 1 million march, like a protest. Technically, it's going to be a protest as well, 1 million march. But let's talk about this protest that just ended. Do you think the protest actually yielded any dividend?
I believe the protest ought to yield a dividend, because protest itself is a wake-up call from slumber. And during the time of campaign, our president was speaking a language, one Yoruba language that sounds Emilokon, and the Emilokon was well understood as my time, my tenure, my right, my turn.
All right. These are part of the issues in Nigeria. I believe that is having some connection or network issues that is causing the break in transmission. Each and every time you see that his system is frozen, so the system is frozen because uh, his system is not stable, it's not steady. The connection is kind of wobbly. It's not stable. Regardless of that, the program, the Idele-Ero show continues, and we are waiting for the prince to reconnect for more questions. But then again, I'm now referring to the audience, the members of the audience viewing and watching this program live on Facebook and YouTube. I believe a lot of you out there have some questions
But
to
his
ask.
turn is to shine and evacuate we Nigerians from the deep state of corruption where we find ourselves. So we are hoping that the protest will yield a positive response. Like what I said before, we the Southeast did not partake because we are marginalized. And there is a lot of hatred to we the people of the Southeast. That is why we decided to stay away, so that we cannot partake on this, so that we can see if the presidency can also come to rescue of we the youth that our rights are being deprived. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Another thing about this non-participation of the Eastern all the time when there's a national call. I look at it as a national call because it's supposed to be a nationwide protest. And now the Igbo people, the eastern part of Nigeria, they kind of stayed away. And they stayed at home. They said they do not want to participate because of the marginalization. I understand that. We all know that. But one thing you got to understand that you cannot stay away from a system you are expecting to work. So if you continue to do that, and yet we are one nation, we are one, nation, Nigeria. But I understand that you guys are sending a message to the government by staying away from, by not participating in the protest. You send the message not just only to the government, but to, the generality of the people. That's fine, no problem, okay? Now, before we lose out of, your time and your system again, let me ask you this. The people are out there listening to us, both ordinary and those elite, that are piloting the affairs of this nation. Now, I want to ask you this question. If by chance, like you said, that the protest is going to yield some dividend, I do not want to go back to the slogan of the president while he was campaigning and all that stuff. We have heard a lot of promises. Like you mentioned, we're going to talk about that as well. There have been a lot of empty promises by politicians, to the people, which failed. Now, this protest that just ended, you are hoping that it will yield some dividend. The president came out, in the middle of it and made some broadcasts to the people. People were expecting to mention some specific things, but he did not. So, and you are still hopeful now, based on what you just said, that there will be some, positive result out of it, that will come out of it. Okay. And it's still the same government. My question right now is, don't you think that the government has a lot of excesses that would have been cut down to accommodate employment of the youth, creation of industries and other? Let's talk about that, the excesses of governance, because I believe there's too much the government that involve the politicians in particular. If they can call down on order, don't you think it will yield, some result, creating employment for the youth and industry? Let's talk about that.
Okay, Chief Brown, you see, sometimes things happen different ways here in Nigeria, and if you listen to what happened the other time, where the presidency is telling us that he met a government that doesn't have a shish in the account, an empty post government, government that he makes a lot of debt. That is what it means. For this same government that he's talking about meeting inadequate government posts of government, they are the same government that is mapping billions of naira for renovation of our vice president's house, buying millions of vehicles, private jets for the presidency. So if we didn't have any finance when you come in, how come all these jets and all that comes across and comes along in the process, why the Nigerians are suffering, why there is hunger everywhere in Nigeria, the youth are committing suicide mission every day, and we don't have food to eat. People cannot boast of the next meal in Nigeria, and these extravagant expenditures will be done in the process of trying to put up a government. There is high cost of government in Nigeria, and that is why I said if the youths are not being inclusive, there is no way we can address it. We cannot be addressing this from the grassroots where we are. It is when we are being involved, not just the youths. It's the youth, the active youths, who are in the system of leadership that can also bring in their own side of view, their own points, that will give a positive dimension to the contributions to the nation's building. So if you don't involve the youth, this cannot be done. Because when you are sharing the cake, when you are bringing ideas of how to move an organization forward, we, the youth, ought to come in and bring in our own version. When we are not there, when the rights are being taken, when the decisions are being taken, when the expenditures are being mentioned, there is no way we the youth can make our own contributions to the nation's building. So those expenditures that they are doing without the involvement of we the youth are why we said collectively that those huge amount of expense will be brought down so that people can now join into the system whereby we have a good nation called Nigeria.
Well, thank you very much. You know, I brought that into it because I know, many of us know, you know, and those watching us right now, they all know that there's too much spending, unnecessary, wasteful spending on the part of government on politicians. We have always, those of us who are activists, we have always recommended that, look, if you cut down the remuneration of the National Assembly members, for example, the senators, I don't want to mention how much, which we already know that they receive huge amount of money monthly, plus their bogus allowances. National Assembly alone, before we even go down to maybe governors and House of Senate members and all that. So now,
yes, I was happy. I felt okay and happy when I heard that National Assembly has cut off 70% of their incentives.
well,
You
we
know,
come to that.
this means that they are now understanding the process why they are going, that is not good to we the youth. Because if you listen what happened and check what happened in previous election, you find out that some youth came in on board, and maybe it is those youth that came in on board that brought the idea of trying to let them understand the need for them to cut the cost of governance.
Okay, you know, that's what I was talking about. Because if you cut the, for a senator, for example, I heard it, I have not seen it, and I'm not saying, I'm not confirming that. For one individual, you know, individual member receiving up to like about 28 to 30 million or 35 million monthly. And the basic salary of an average worker in Nigeria is just about 30 to 40,000 naira. That is wholly unacceptable. The standard is unacceptable. So now, if you cut down the salary of a National Assembly member to like about 2 million monthly, and then that's a rent, let's say about 1.5 monthly, I can guarantee you, even without allowing you to say it, they will not contest the next election. They will not contest the next election. That's where I'm going to come back in now with what you mentioned about the Constitution. We need to revisit the Constitution, like you said, like you suggested. We have always observed that this Constitution here has given a lot of laxity to the government to be wasteful in their spending. Now, how do we go about bringing in, is it amendment or a brand new constitution? Let's talk about that.
Okay. You see, in the aspect of constitution, like I said before, our constitution of Nigeria today is outdated. Let me use that word, outdated. We need to have a new constitution, because if you check, these corrections came from the previous constitution that binds all the regions together. And I believe the constitution has to be revisited, because every other things we are talking about boil down on the constitution review, constitution amendment, a revolution, referendum. You're talking about, it's boiling down on the constitution, where I find out that we are building on a wrong and a faulty foundation. Yes, we need to have a new foundation, a new structure, a new thinking. You see, we have to start from changing the mindset of our leaders. Yes, our mindset needs to be changed so that we can also change it from the grassroots, who are the electorate that also vote in our leaders. Like what happened in 2023, I considered for Federal House of Representatives. You know, you find out that most of our youths will always come around to ask you, what is the sharing formula? What are they sharing? What is your party sharing? How much are they giving at the polling unit? These are the corruptions we are talking about. Coming to the polling unit to know how much that is being shared for your votes.
And those are the youth that you are clamoring for right now. Those are the youth as well. You see what I'm telling you? See, those people that are coming to you to ask you for how much you're going to give them before they ask their vote for you, are they not youth of Nigeria?
They are youth of Nigeria, but they are hungry.
Oh, okay.
So when you give them jobs, when you employ them, you reduce crime in Nigeria. Once our youth are being employed, they will be busy doing one thing or the other. It's also another way of reduction of crime in Nigeria. That is what we are trying to let them understand.
Okay, then. So you are supposed to tell them that if I give you what you are asking me now, how long would that last you? That's what you're supposed to tell them when you were contesting the election. Now, why don't you tell them, well, that's the reason why I'm going there to work for you? That would have been what you need to tell them. Because if you give them what they're asking you now, even though we understand that they do not have jobs, that's the reason why they are hungry. We agree. But somebody got to change. It's not going to be automatic anyway. So you are going there. You are going there to represent them, to make sure you effect some change. You bring, about some changes. Okay, and yet in every election they come out and ask for peanuts that will not last them for probably a day or two, and at the end of the day they still continue to, be hungry. So why don't they sacrifice? Because for you to bring about all these changes, then you also have to be ready to sacrifice. That's what I'm talking about. So since they did not sacrifice that part, and they will go and vote for the wrong person that had the money to give to them, things are never going to change. Do you agree to that?
You see,
Yes.
let us be sincere in the sincerity of purpose. You see, once our youth have been employed, all these things will stop. I think because our youth are not being properly employed, that is why he's making about asking how much you are going to give me at the polling unit before I can now be able to vote you in. So it's boiling down on the employment which we are talking about. So let them give the youth jobs. Like for me, when I was contesting election, one of my major objectives was to bring in our youth on board, to make sure there is jobs for our youth from my constituency, which is Okanot and South Federal constituency, giving them the eligibles for federal jobs. You make sure they have the federal jobs by themselves. Those ones that are eligible for state works, make sure you facilitate it to make sure they are there. The ones that didn't go to school can also start sale acquisitions, which our governor in Anambra State is doing right now in the state. I must commend him on that, although I am not an Abuga stalwart or member, but I know that he is also trying to bring in skills and acquisition, which he has done the first batch, and now he's also doing second batch. But the problem there is that, if you are not in Apuga, if you are not a party faithful, you might not be able to get in. It will boil down on the circle of the party, which is not supposed to be so. But I must have to commend him for having this insight and putting it in place, trying to bring out the youths in Anambra State for skills and acquisition, which is applaudable, and it's a very nice idea.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that part, that you give credit to the present governor, who is probably not from your political party. That's being honest. So that's an honest opinion about him right there, which is good. So, because again, if you are a leader, if you are elected to be president or governor, remember that you are not there to represent your party alone. You are now representing everybody. That's good about what you just said on that governor of your state. Now, if we go back to the constitution part of this program, and how do you select competent people that will draft the constitution without infesting it with those corrupt politicians that will build into the constitution what we are experiencing right now? How do you select those? You are calling for a clean slate constitution, which most people have been calling for that. But if we have to do that, how do you select people? How are you going to be able to get credible people with integrity that will actually, not only that, again, let me say, people who has the nation at heart, you know, who has the nation at heart without being selfish, you know. So how do you get those people on board to make a brand new constitution that will take the country to the next stage of progress? Honorable Prince, that's for you.
You know, yeah, in one of my live broadcasts, sometimes last year, I discussed about youth tokenism. And one of the tokenism that was I was talking about, you see, you have to show capacity of what you can do. You see, to be when I talk about an active youth, I talk about the youth who are active in society. I talked about the youth who has been in the leadership of the youth, because it is these youths that we are talking about that have elected those leaders of their youth, and they believe they have the capacity to carry them along. So I believe if the government, we the youth, we know the people that are capable, we know the people that have the leadership skills that can be able to go and represent us in the Federal House of Reps, National Assembly, in the Senate, even in the presidency, who will also make sure that our dividends are not being deprived from us. So if we are talking about that we don't know the people that are capable, that can do this, then there's no need of telling an old man to dig a ground with a shovel, and he will tell you that I don't know how to dig a ground with shovel.
All right, I got that. My point is, a lot of people are not patriotic enough. That's the thing, They are not, regardless of what you just said. That is, some people are still, they already infested. What the corruption? One thing they don't understand is that all this acquisition of wealth at the detriment of the fellow Nigerians is wrong. They don't care. They don't know. They don't know about all that. When people have been told that, oh, don't worry about when they get there, they change. When they get there, they change. They can be showing some kind of love right now, some kind of uh, way that oh, they will do well when they get there. They tell you all kind of stuff that you want to hear, but when you get there, the story changes. So I don't know how all that is going to happen, because based on your own experience, you are a young man, you were contesting the election, expecting that the youth will support you, irrespective of even if your party was not popular, but they know that you are a good person. The people are supposed to rally around you to ensure that you were elected to that position. And I don't know who was your challenger, probably was not as good as you are. They know that. The people know that. But they go for the money. They go for the money. They go for the money. The only way at the moment to change this system is through the ballot in an election. When there's any election, the people need to be sensitized. They need to be educated, giving that political education awareness that if you collect money today to vote for the wrong person, you are going to be the same person that will suffer from the hands of the wrong person that you voted into power. We need to let them know about all this. Now, again, I want to ask you this question. I'm going to ask you this question. I need you to give me an honest answer. We understand that corruption it is so deep into us Nigerians. Everywhere we go, we show corruption. We show corruption. If you are chosen to be the leader, let's say you are the president of this country today, what will you do differently? Answer me. Are you still there? Well, it looks like his system is frozen once again. This is the picture of the gentleman uh, that has been talking to you. Uh, well, this is when he was actually contesting for the House of Representatives way back in 2023. Unfortunately, he didn't get it, and I believe he is still there uh, to do it again. I believe he's still there to do it again. You know, so generally he is not giving up. So he is not giving up. I know that. So uh, I'm saying that whenever any young man that has pretty good objective, you know, comes out, we should be able to rally around him so that we, you know, give him a try to see if his ideas can bring about positive change in that country. Because most of it all actually lies on the National Assembly members. Lies on the National Assembly members. So the National Assembly members has, you know, been so corrupt that they have made that place the retirement homes for the corrupt governors. When you see in Nigeria, after the tenure of a governor, they now contest to go into the Senate. Tell me how those people will be able to bring effective amendment into constitutions. You know, I mean, into the constitution in Nigeria, if they'll be able to bring effective amendment to the constitution in Nigeria, you know, because they do not want to change what they are doing. See, they don't want to change what they're doing. They were corrupt while they were governors, you know, and now they go into the most corrupt chambers, which is National Assembly. So what do you expect from such people? So these are things we need to look into. In Nigeria, we need to look into all that in Nigeria until we change a lot of things. It's going to be hard. So probably a new constitution would be better because when you talk about amendment, it is the same corrupt people that are there to amend the Constitution. If it is not favorable to them, they will not touch it. If it is not favorable to them, I repeat, they will not touch it. They will only amend those things that will be favorable to them, that they will benefit from. Whatever is going to benefit the common man, they will not touch it. If not, if this present administration has not done anything, I'll give them one credit. The governors have been using the local government. They kind of silence the local government, which is the third tier of the federal system that we operate in Nigeria. Actually, we have not been operating the federal system. We've just been, made. People call it made, because we only have the federal and the state government. You don't hear about the local government, which is a grassroots government. Yes, the state governors have sat on top of them, tied them, to the apron, So basically, there has been no development in the grassroots. Because why? The state government has adopted the third tier of government in Nigeria. So, and thank God for this administration that went to court and took it to the Supreme Court that Nigeria, the local government need autonomy. So, and that has been given. I don't know if it has been effective yet, but Nigerians all over the world celebrated that victory of giving the local government autonomy, granting them autonomy, that they'll be on their own, their finances will be for them, so that if any local government chairman and councillors or whatever, if they mismanage their local government, then they can be held accountable. But all this time, nobody, you cannot hold them accountable. When you say the federal government sent allocations to the state government, they sent that of the local government as well, and the same account with the state government. And guess what? The state government will give a little bit of it to the chairman, and the rest of it they consume. No accountability. No one has been able to account for the funds that goes to the local government. They also have their own taxes. Local government have their, taxes that they collect. IGR. Nobody is asking questions in Nigeria. Nobody is asking anything. Nobody asks questions. Everybody's just, on their own. They just like, they go out there. It is mind-boggling to me and to many people out there. So we need a lot of things to change in Nigeria. Seriously, we need a lot to change in Nigeria. So I don't know. I'm about to round up the program. My honorable friends, I just you were off for a minute. I just showed this picture, and I know that this was the picture that when you were contesting the election in 2023. Is that correct? The honorable.
Yeah, that's my picture. Yeah. Where did you get the picture? Your brother, where did you get my picture? Yeah.
It's my job. I'm a media man. It's my job to get it. So I was just like, okay, here we go with another one. You see? So this was you. This was you. And I'm very sure you have a very good agenda for the people of your state. But I know I'm trying to encourage you that we still need you out there. We need you out there, Don't give it up. I'm like you. So everybody they know Joe Brown has been into it for 16 years. They will not, it's hard for people like us to be chosen, believe me. The good people are out there, but the bad people are in charge, and therefore they know what they're doing. They can only bring out those that we, favor them. Tell me about all these pictures that we are looking at right now. What were you doing here, Honorable? Can you still hear me?
I can't get, I can't hear you clearly, sir. Can you come again?
I said, listen. I just brought out a picture. What were you doing in this picture? What was happening here? Can you hear me?
Okay. I am trying to convince the leaders of the institutions within my constituency, trying to convince them on the need for them to vote me in so that we can change the mindset and also turn the old order to new order, which is bringing up an objectives that are much more better than what others has. But the problem we're having is by the time you refuse to share money or to give people money as they playing it, they will think you are not coming for the good of the society. So
Okay,
what we need to do, like I said before, is trying to change the mindset of our youth. That is why people like us are coming involved, so that once we are there, we also help to change the mindset of our youth, so that we know we have a better objective coming on board.
All right. Okay, here we go with another one. Can you see this picture here? Can you see this picture?
Yeah, I'm seeing it.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm
so
seeing
what
them.
happened here? What happened? So what was going on here?
My visit to my principal, who is Barrister Adewale, candidate of Social Democratic Party, my great party, trying to accompany him to one or two functions in my area, Southeast. Once he came to Southeast, he consulted me as one who is contesting from this region. So he just my accompanying with my campaign team, trying to accompany him to a very strategical function in Enugu State.
All right.
That is what the picture is all about.
I got a lot of them here. I got a lot of your pictures anyway. So I'm just kind of bringing this up to ease the tension that's been going on in the show today. So where were you right here?
This is my good friend, Professor Ugochukwu Ugu of he's a professor of English language in Nnamdi Azikiwe, Yoka, Unizik. That should be the day of his coronation, and I was being invited. So as my good friend, I have to take one or two pictures for remembrance of what happened today. That's been a long time memory that you are bringing on board, sir.
That's right. Anyway, so it has been a very good show, and it has been my pleasure having you here today. And in the future, I hope to bring you back in. I hope that I wish you the best in your ambition to bring about positive change in Nigeria. As an activist, just like myself, and you have been involved in a lot of things. And I believe that people who have watched this program today, they know that you are out to bring about, some positive changes in Nigeria, and I wish you the best luck in that. Okay, so do not give up. Do not give up. That's what people we advise. Even me, people have told me, hey, don't give it up. Try. We need you. We need you. We need you. Okay, so we are about rounding up the show, and I really appreciate your time for coming in today on this broadcast. Like I said, you are very welcome anytime, any day that you think you need to talk to the people of Nigeria. If you need to talk to them, you are very welcome to the Jobran Idele-Ero show. We'll bring you live again on Facebook and YouTube. So, and again, I want to appreciate you for everything, your time. I know what it is. So it has been very, very enjoyable. And this program here is going to be domiciled on Facebook and YouTube, so that in case of those who missed it today, they can always go back in there and check it out. And I want to appreciate my very, very good friend and partner of this program, Dawn Peckham from London, the UK. This woman follow up this show. That goes to show dedication and commitment. If you are committed to something, show it. She has always been there. Whenever I'm on live show, she comes on and make her contributions known to the people. So I appreciate you, Don Becker, for coming on today. One of my other friends was not able to catch the program on Facebook. I don't know, for some reason he couldn't get it. Churchill Iyahen just wrote me a private message that he couldn't get it. I said, okay, well, yeah, that's fine. Never mind. You can still make your contributions after the show on the comment box. I was going to open up the phone line, but it don't look like people are willing to do that because no one is even on the comment box right now. So most time they will not be able to call. So I'm about to close the program where we'll come to the end of it. And once again, I appreciate you, Prince Honorable Chinedu Ekwunife. Thank you for your time. God bless you. And I also thank the members of the audience who are out there watching, even though they didn't make any contribution. This program is for you. Anytime you see us live, please come out and make your contribution, even in the comment box. Sometimes we open up phone lines so that you can call and then ask questions to the guests, and even myself will be willing to give you an answer to it. I want to end the program by playing the music of my son, my boy. I call him my son and my boy, a very promising young man, promising gospel artist. His name is Terry Maxine Gold. This one that I'm bringing here is his latest music. So I'm bringing that to you to close the program. That is Korobo. Again, it looks like you didn't hear me. Did you hear what I was saying about we are running on the program? I was appreciating you for your time. I talked about Prince Chinedu. Did you hear all that? It looks like his system is frozen once again, and I thank everybody that took their time to listen and watch the show live. And even those who are going to go back in there later on to make their contribution, thank you so much. May God bless you all. Korobo is on your way.
Yale down, say. don't tell me what it was going. I'm on my knees, please come. Come and set us free. We need you more and more. Just come and set us free, Daddy. Daddy, even when I ask a question and gossip, I know me here for Daddy, the Korobo was a question and gossip, I know me here for Daddy. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. It's you that I have come to see. No one else can take your place. I don't know what you're doing. Koroboy, but you need that person see a Koroboy. Father, get it walk far. Please come down, oh Lord, I pray. I'm on my knees, please come. Come and set us free. We need you more and more. Just come and set us free.
Thank you so much. We're done. Thank you. I'll catch you up again next time. God bless you. Bye-bye. Bye, everybody. Bye. Oh, yeah.
Tell me what you are looking for. You go say, you go crack a knee. Is it the house or your money? You go say, you back a video. Put all your trust in God. He will never fail you, brother. Never you worry at all. You go say, you back a video. Do you gonna do? Are you very bracky? You go say, to back in Musi Dominion. Hey, gonna ride you very bracky. You must be my Why I came to Dominion? Bamo.